Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Motivational Rant. I am your host, Dino, the Genetic Marvel, and with me, as always, is Crystal Morency, my co-host. Good morning, Crystal. How are you today?
How come I'm not lovely and fantastic and wonderful and all these other super annoying things that you like to say?
I'm saving it for later. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. So, Dino, I am doing super wonderful. How are you, my Lord Dino, the most wonderful man in the whole entire world? Every woman wants to be with him. Every man wants to be him.
You gotta stop saying that. My wife is already angry. She's like, listen, you are not that fancy. And I'm like, I'm very fancy. I am the fanciest man in this house.
I get it. I'll stop doing it because that's super annoying, and I get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Bart Simpson. I was like, SMRT. I am so smart. And it's just,
SMRT.
Yeah.
That was Homer, wasn't it?
No, that's Bart.
Was it?
I'm not that bald, okay? Come on, Crystal.
Say perhaps. What does that shirt say?
Oh, it says, say perhaps to drugs. Say perhaps. You never know.
Say perhaps not.
You know what?
Don't do drugs.
Do this.
Drugs
Somebody gives you something, only take half. That's pretty reasonable. That's good advice. That is good advice from Bert Kreischer. Only take half. You know?
Yeah, because he takes half.
Hasn't taken half of anything in his whole life, that fat fuck. Okay? I've actually started adding the hashtag, at least I'm not as fat as Bert Kreischer, just onto our videos, because why not? I'm trying to get us out there, so...
Don't use him to get us out there. We don't need him.
No, I will use what?
He uses us.
I will use everyone.
To get out there. Oh, I've hashtagged him and stuff, or added him.
Yeah.
But that's only on things that I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah. Dick. You know what? It's.
Do you think he'd be smart enough to do this, the block?
Huh?
If somebody were to be like, boop, do you think he'd be smart enough to do the block instantly, like cat-like reflexes?
No. Not at all. Not even
I
remotely.
don't know as much as I think that he's got these weird capabilities because he's a frat boy, and frat boys have weird capabilities like that.
Yeah, but that's like
I might be able to pull him.
Frat boys from like the 30s knew that, right? He's a frat boy from the 90s, which you're like, yeah, the frat guys from the 90s, they knew how to drug people and do inappropriate things with them. That's what they knew. So that's kind of...
And get peed on.
And get peed on. They definitely enjoyed getting peed on. Hey, you know what? Some people just like that. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's...
So how are you, Dino?
I'm good. I've just been... I had... I don't know. The other day I was feeling kind of... So I just kind of stuck to myself and everything, and just kind of curl up in a ball and watch horrible, horrible documentaries that make my mind cringe and say, see, life isn't that bad. That helps me. Because I watch some stuff and like... Oh, and by the way, yeah, so I was thinking about what you sent me, where you're like, this is how I'm learning economics. I'm like, that's a bad way to start economics.
No, I've been so deep learning and stuff. I'm trying to get myself into that.
Yeah.
So I'm even setting categories aside, so that way I'm learning about history, I'm learning about economics, I'm learning about this, I'm learning about but categorized.
Yeah.
So that way it's not all spun together.
Oh no, that's great.
And then I'm trying to do different time periods, so that way I know going back to what time periods. But I keep making I'm such a YouTube fucking nerd because I don't talk to anybody in real life. So I'm like, I don't even flirt with it. I flirt with people on YouTube. And I'm like, ooh, you're awfully smart. And then I get in these debates, and they're not debates. But I really want people to be positive and just smile.
And Well, and this was what I was thinking was I don't know which was your first video. You said this is how I'm starting economics. And I was like, that's a bad start. But
it was one on Wall Street, on the stock markets.
And that's it's accurate. Don't get me wrong. It's more so that
it was a Netflix special, but it was on YouTube.
So what I've found whenever I'm trying to learn something is I'll find the driest material because it's more just fact instead of an opinion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I've been researching.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say.
I've been researching the mathematical stuff on AIs as well, like the mathematical portions on AIs. But I really have to go back and look at like all my pi, and like I have to learn all that stuff over again because I'm like,
you know what?
I'm looking at some of it. I'm like,
you don't necessarily have to.
I don't know what that means.
But if you know what pi is helpful. Like knowing what the quadratic function and what its purpose is. Like you don't necessarily have to know the math to understand how their stuff. But this is the thing is that. But
I'm just trying to have like an open mind to
everything. Oh no, which is great.
I think that we repeat history, and that's our problem. Mm-hmm. So I think that like we look up to all these great ones. Well, those great ones were great because they did something themselves and created something themselves.
And a lot of times,
I think it's kind of insulting.
Yeah, well,
no, something wonderful, but I think it's insulting for us to try to do what they did, but do it better. Yeah. Why don't we create another way, you know?
Well, a lot of
like, how much do you respect somebody if you're like, yeah, that was good, but I can do it way better. Watch.
So, and this is the thing, is one of the things that are really important is learning the basics of any subject, I've found, in a bland way, in the sense that where it's just factual information, because when you watch like that Netflix thing is accurate.
I've been mentioning to saying that I've been on the mathematical thing that I was looking up. It's the GAN. It's for like AI. But anyways, that it was a paper, like a guy's thesis, like
which is perfect,
like a theory. So it was just I downloaded his paper. Yeah. So it was nobody talking. I had to read
which
it.
Is great.
And you know what I mean.
And that's why it's because economics is a great subject. But it's been perverted so bad in the last, say, 50 years.
Oh, and I watched like 100 videos on one shot. So, and I'll take it from every different source. They don't just take it from one source and be like, that's the way it is. No. Like, as soon as somebody says, like, that one thing you sent me, the only thing you need to know about all you need to know about the economy. No. This is all you need to know. As soon as somebody says this is all you need to know about one subject, I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
This is all we want you to know.
There you go.
About this subject.
As soon as, and you know what, it goes down to the same, like some principles are so transferable. Because, and someone says, well, this is all you need to know. That's definitely not all you need to know. They are either trying to fuck with you, or they're trying to keep you uninformed. So, while their information...
It's about what you need to know about your adventure, too.
Oh, that's also true. The whole thing is, and this is why, is if you have a basic understanding of a certain subject, such as economics or marketing, those basic functions... are still the core fundamentals that were created. We're talking about hundreds of years, like 120 years ago, 150 years ago-ish, right? So what happened is over time, those principles, those base core principles of what marketing or economics, how they're supposed to function, are still valid and true. It's then you have to see how they've been perverted throughout time. Like one of the big things, and this was crazy, was we were in London, England, when... I don't know, do you remember this? It was a few years ago, but they had a bunch of riots, and like they burned down a place and stuff. It was pretty crazy. Oh. But what happened was essentially young kids were running into stores and taking everything and just walking away. And yeah, it was pretty brutal, to the point where...
That's happening right now in the States.
Well, and that's why in London, it was unheard of for this kind of stuff to happen. This was years ago. Yeah. But the funny thing was, I had booked... What was it for? I think it was for something, not an anniversary, because we usually don't travel during the summer because it's too hot in most places, and I'm a big pussy. So I don't like that being hot. I like it being a nice, mild temperature that's beautiful for me. As soon as it's hot, I'm like, I just turn into a pile of goo. That sounded way not what I meant to say, but anyways. The point is that we started talking with a guy. I booked a ride on the London Eye. So it's essentially a giant Ferris wheel, but it's a massive thing. So I booked a Mr. Pim's ride, which means they made us a couple drinks. But the thing is, nobody else booked it, and I booked the last one of the night. So when we got on there, it's this thing it's capable to hold, I think, 40 or 60 people, and it's just me and Victoria, nobody else. Yeah, it was really cool. And so the guy who was making, it was just the guy making us drinks, and he was like, "Oh, this is the camera. It's coming up. You want to stand right here? You want to do this? Is it like?" And then I was like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And Victoria's like, why don't you shut the fuck up?" And I was like, "No, I just want to know." I go, "Listen, you're from London." I go, "Can I get your opinion on these rides and stuff? Like, I want a local's opinion, because even I know the news is full of shit." He goes, "I actually live where the fire was. Yes, it was like the night before was where it was a pub that got lit on fire." He goes, he goes, "That's where I live." He goes, "I went there after work. On my way home, I passed by it." I was like, "Fuck, for real?" He goes, "Yeah, man." I go, "That's your case." He goes, I said, "What's your opinion on it?" He goes, "I've literally heard people look at their kids and go, 'Hey, we need a new TV. Go get one of those big ones.'" And the kids are like, "Okay."
No kidding.
And then, I go, "You know what? In actuality," and this is where it brings back to those core principles, is when people steal top tier items, so like new Nikes, a new TV, like all those kind of things, in actuality is the perfect fruition of advertising. Because advertising, its entire goal is to take something that is a unnecessary want and create it to the most important need. Okay?
Yeah, calling it a top tier item.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Considering Nikes and all that stuff to be a top tier item. I don't know, I think a beef cow that puts out a lot of beef is pretty handy. I think like a fat cow. I think like a great pig, or like, healthy chickens.
I love that you just said that, because watch this, okay? This is where it gets really fucked up, and where you can see where things are perverted and where things are still unadulterated, okay? So think about it this way: is
all the porn.
They're great. It's great terminology. It's great terminology.
I watched porn yesterday.
That is true.
When I'm all sad and down, I'm a freak. Like, and it's weird that I become a freak when I'm all sad and down.
It's disappointing, but it's very true. You're like, I'm sad. I need to know people's lives are worse and jerk off to it. Just, your life sucks. This is great.
An obscene amount of porn. I'm surprised there was nobody busting in my door.
Anyways, okay, so this is the thing.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that point. But this is the thing: is a pair of running shoes that are very expensive and beautiful go for a significant amount more for zero actual reason. The actual reason isn't that it protects your foot. In actuality, we're built to be able to walk barefoot. And the idea of having a higher heel on your shoe is false. It should be equal. Like, there's a whole bunch of things. There's no reason why we should spend that amount of money other than it's for aesthetics, okay? But now you go the other way. You said a cow. Okay, so you have a cow. Great. But now there's a breeding process to make sure now you have Angus beef, you have Wagyu beef, you have all these other things. You're going, now you've taken an item that was a base item, you've improved upon its basic structure to make a higher class product. That is at its base actual marketing. You took it, you refined it, you made it better, and you lowered the amount of availability for that better product, but it's still a fundamental thing. You still need to eat, right? That's a base unadulterated form. It's when you get to things like, and I don't mean to rag on running shoes. It's more so that my running shoes just arrived and they look very fancy and they're completely like ridiculous.
Show us.
They're too far away and you're not going to be able to hear them. They're a pair of Adidas. They're very nice, but
on the next episode, will you show us?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
But that was the whole thing.
See how that took?
Yeah,
you should have brought them out.
I know, I forgot, and I don't have a go-go gadget arm to be able to like blah, 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 blah. So, but the whole idea is that like those two principles is you can make one. You can use the same guideline for something ridiculous like a running shoe or a brand new TV or a new phone, completely absurd, or you can use the same principles for something at its bare at its core that is a fundamental need and still use the same process and still become profitable. Like there's still a way, and that's why like those core principles are still very important to learn, and that's why I don't want
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
You guys all want to be rich. Look at Warren Buffett.
That guy eats
He's
McDonald's
the same thing.
every
He puts
day.
all his money.
Does.
But he puts his money into Coca-Cola. Okay, Coca-Cola, for example. He kept putting all of the money into. You promote your product.
Yeah.
You want, and he buys all these businesses instead of just buying shares in them. Buys the whole business. That's smart.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's all about putting it into your product, putting it back into your product. And that's why I say if I had money, like even like, you know, if I won the lottery or if I became rich or somehow, I would, every single penny I make, it'd be put back in it, because it always has for me. I put it back into my product. Like I don't buy, if it's something that I'm purchasing, it's something towards being better or moving forward. You know, and being better isn't having a fancy pair of shoes, or being better isn't having a nice sweater. Like, if I had the space and stuff to have chickens and cows at the beginning of this, I would have been buying some chickens and cows. That would have been my Amazon purchases. Like, I don't know what, like, instead, I bought a wood burning kit and fucking camping shit.
I'll be honest, I have to go to Amazon and see if you can order a cow. Amazon. I want to see if you can order a cow, because I think it's an important thing to know, right? Like this cow.
And the fencing and cow feed.
Cow.
I'd make my own cow feed.
That's disgusting.
I believe in like natural stuff. I don't understand why people buy all this like crazy stuff. Make your own like baby food. Like don't buy jar baby. Get a blender for fuck's sakes. People are so lazy. That's the thing. We think that we need this stuff and we don't need it. And at the end of the day, it costs more money.
Interesting.
Like, you know.
Interestingly enough, you cannot buy a cow on Amazon. Interesting. What about a piglet?
Well, it's kind of live. I don't think you can buy live things on Amazon. Who's going to deliver that?
Well, I typed in piglet.
Like, are you going to get I don't even think you can get a puppy.
No. You know what, Amazon? Amazon,
you get children.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna do that.
Wayfair.
That's Wayfair. Yeah, that's Wayfair. Mm-hmm. Actually, interesting enough, Victoria wanted to get a new rack for some coats and stuff because one busted, and we were looking. She found one on Wayfair, and she was like, it was like $250. She's like, that's too expensive for a rack. I'm not willing to pay it. But it was like three. It's been probably 3 weeks, and now it's on sale. And they sent an email to her. Hey, this product you were looking at is on sale now for $80. She's like, okay, done. But
it was a child.
It was a child. No, they removed the child, so now it's only $80. It's perfect.
Yep.
Mind you, that's kind of sad for a child.
Somebody bought the child.
A child to be $170. That's pretty low for a child. That's
I've seen where. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah. I don't know. No, it's, I watched Enola Holmes last night on Netflix. It's supposed to be, so there are apparently a bunch of young adult books on the little sister of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, so the interesting thing, and this is, so it's done with, did you watch Stranger Things? Okay, so the 11, it's
11?
Millie.
I don't know her name.
Millie Bobby Brown, yeah, the one with the shaved head. She's in it. Yeah. She's Enola Holmes, and then cool. Henry Cavill, who I like to call Fat Cavill, is awesome. He plays Sherlock Holmes, and then another guy who plays Mycroft, and Mycroft plays a dick because Mycroft's a dick, and but then so. Henry Cavill plays Sherlock Holmes, and I thought he did a great job. But honestly, I have feelings for Henry Cavill. He's very good looking. The new Superman guy. God, you're the worst. Come on. What was that?
Nothing.
There was an explosion.
I just knocked over the light.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that'll happen. Hopefully it still works.
There you go.
Perfect.
Of course it does.
I don't know. Maybe it's fragile. Fuck if I know.
It's not fragile. Look at it. It's plastic. You have one in front of you.
Yeah, but I didn't drop mine, so I don't know if it'll break.
Oh. Not even once?
I don't think so. I try.
You haven't knocked it over? Not even once?
No, well, I have a stable. You're like on carpet and chairs. Like you're balanced on a bunch of different books and stuff. I'm at a desk. It's not the same, right? But yeah, so.
You should know that if I was on a desk, I would still be knocking shit over. Just so you know, don't send me fancy shit. Don't send me anything that if it doesn't fall, it won't break. Because if it doesn't, chances are I'm going to break it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm just warning you.
That's great. It's fantastic.
I keep the warranties, right?
That's great. I've sent her a camera, sent her the light.
I'll fix it.
All of them are fresh. I just feel like I gotta come back and they're like, look, I used cellophane on the outside where it's broken and then duct tape on the back because that's not where the light is. It's genius. It's great. So yeah, I saw Enola Holmes and it was weird. It was, why are you making weird faces now?
Because I'm so happy that you had so much faith in me.
Listen.
I mean, you did send it to me knowing that I was like a recovering drug addict and stuff, so at least I didn't sell it. At least you know that I'm sober.
No, I've said that before. You didn't give me that kind of vibe that you were,
Nah, I was
like
never
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I do try to take care of other people's stuff.
Yeah.
It's not mine, so I will try to take care of it. I mean, trust me, I'll do my best, but the lamp has fallen a time or two. I dropped the camera like 8 times. It's very durable. I'm not good with stuff.
Fine. Just don't worry about it.
My tablet drops like 100 times a day. Like, I don't know how it has.
Okay.
Like, my phone, too. Like, I've already dropped my laptop.
Honestly, I'll tell you this honestly. You know how there are those memes where people are like, everyone has a friend whose phone is like this, and it shows an iPhone, and it's like just cracked all over the front? I'm like, who the fuck does that? It's right here. It's right here. It is.
That's why I buy a cheap one from Walmart. My phone was only like $150.
Hey,
pay as you go.
You're awesome.
I pay $50 a month.
You're awesome, and I love it. I love it. It's great.
My tablet, I've had it for 2 years. How long has people had those fancy iPhones? I've had my tablet for a long time too, and that I paid like $80 for it. It's a Samsung tablet.
Which is great. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I don't mean to say it as a mean thing. It's more so like, I just don't get it. Like, for me, because I'm an idiot, right? Like, this is the thing is... I'm
clumsy.
You are clumsy.
And
you do give that up.
I try to grab like 100 things at once, and I fall a lot. Because I forget I have a lot going on as I'm walking, and I've walked into walls, I've walked into pavilions,
No. I'm kind of glad we're not doing this in person. So she's like, yeah, I walked into a wall, sorry guys. And I just be like, I wasn't even here, okay? I didn't, I fell down the stairs, it was my fault. Dino's a great guy. And I'll be like, I wasn't here, man. It's fucked up. You know what you do? Yeah. That's the thing is, I've seen you do stuff like when I came to the show you were having at the wing place. You had like 4 plates and like a bag of popcorn, and you like spun through like 7 men, and were like, and served like 5 tables, and I'm like, but the best part is,
because I'm a waitress and bartender, so I usually can handle it all.
You turned around and you like punched a chair by accident. You were like, fuck, and I'm like, how did that happen? I don't understand. It's the exact same skill set, and I was just like, what? And you're like, fuck, goddamn, and I'm like. How did that happen? I don't understand. It was, that's the thing is.
It's the simple things. It's like, ask me on a good day what 2 + 2 is. I'm like, but ask me something like very hard. And I'm like, well.
You know what? I get it though.
But I just tripped over my own feet.
Oh, but it's honestly.
And choked on my own breath.
Like, seriously, this is the thing is, I saw you do that, and I was like, because I used to be a waiter, and I could have cause I have massive like Mickey Mouse hands, right? So like I could hold 2 plates, and I'd throw another one on my arm because I have a big forearm, so I could get a flat space, and have like another 2 here. I'm like, I could top out at 5, right? And I'm like, but it was hard, and a lot of people couldn't do that. But I'm like, I only did it because I was big, not because I was skilled.
I could do 5.
I've seen you do 5, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I could do 5.
And I honestly, like, that's the thing is, she literally, it was a crowd of comics.
And with a tray of shots.
There was a crowd of comics, all like, it was like an obstacle course. And she just like, and I was like, she literally like danced right through him. I was like, how did you even do that? Then she turns around and bam, right into a chair. I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody's just fucking with me. It's messed up. I've never, actually, you know what? It's funny because for me, the toilet paper holder that we have in the bathroom is one of those, like, it's like an open ring. So it's just like, it's hooked on and it goes, ooh. It's like, ooh, it's fancy. The problem is, lately, it's been sliding out. And when it slides out, the plastic thing that holds it, that one has some steel in it, but the actual ring thing is steel. So when it falls, it traditionally will fall like directly on one of the 4 little toes on my foot, and it hurts so fucking bad. And I'm like, this has never happened in 5 years that we renovated the bathroom, and I'm like, why is it happening now? And it consistently will happen. So I have to like, it's driving me crazy. And it, like for me, I'm like, have I broken this thing? Like, what did I do? But but that happens to me.
Maybe your feet are getting bigger.
I don't think I look.
Measured it lately?
Huh?
I'm like, have you measured it lately? Maybe you're going through a growth spurt.
I'm losing fat and gaining mass. Like I'm just growing. My body is like, we can't just waste the fat. Let's use it. Let's build him bigger and stronger. That's what we need. Yeah,
that's what people do when they work out. They take their fat and turn it into muscle. Bodybuilders and stuff, they get all fat, and then they work out and turn it into muscle.
I don't want to take steroids, though.
I don't want you to either. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't think me being more aggressive, I don't think that's a good solution. That's just not, I don't think that's a helpful.
It's like me taking steroids. Not a good idea.
I kind of want to see you on steroids, though, just to have you, like, massive, just be like, yeah, what's up? Like, you coming with me?
No. Just give me 1 week in the gym, and I get like that. I obtain muscle disgustingly quick. Like, I did renovations and I did demolition work, and my pipes were like massive. This is me not working out at all, and I have like a big, huge like man muscle. Like that's just from like lifting my grandfather. Like I can literally lift you probably over my. I'm a very abnormally strong for my size. Like very abnormally strong for my size.
I say that you are very strong. But let's not be ridiculous, okay? Come on. I'm 400 pounds.
I guarantee you I can lift you on my back.
Hey,
guarantee you I can.
As soon as I go off the ground, your spine is going to collapse and shoot out your asshole. Okay? Do you understand how heavy I am?
It's cool. I got you.
I'm terrified
we just
that she's going to make a point of this.
We have to go back to back, and then
elbows,
I know link elbows, and then
trick.
I go like this.
Okay.
And I go like this, and then I just carry you, like I just hold you on my legs.
Okay. You know, okay, so I've made this joke that I live with my wife and her parents, and they're Asian. So there's nobody in this house I can't wear as a backpack. Hey? They all are bigger than Crystal. Crystal would try and loop my arms, and I would just be like, okay, I'm comfortable, go. And she'd be like dangling her feet from the ground. Like, are you gonna lift me? Just let me. I'm waiting.
You just wait. You wait.
I'm worried
Till we
she's
get
gonna.
in person. I'm gonna do
I'm
it.
gonna be standing at a bar at a comedy show or something someday, and she's gonna come up behind me and be like, "Ah!" trying to lift me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's not healthy. It's not good. Honestly, your intestines will shoot out your crotch, and your spine will go at your
I'm
asshole.
gonna start working out.
Well, one of us should.
You wait.
Because I'm not doing fuck all right now.
Ooh,
I'm thinking about doing
I
it.
think that we should become snobby tennis players.
Oh my god.
They just put up tennis courts at and everybody's been talking about it too. So I don't know if I want to jump on any bandwagons because I usually don't like that stuff. But they put up new tennis courts at the Oshawa Mall because that's what we need in this world. That's a necessity. But anyway, so they put up new tennis courts at the Oshawa Mall. And now I kind of want to play. I just want to try it. Like, I know I did it in high school for, like, during gym class. Try it. But it was like,
yeah.
I got to only do it once because, like, you had to line up to take your turn. And so I've only done it for, like, a couple shots back and forth during class.
See,
it was, like, one day.
My problem is I have a tendency to hit things like a baseball, so I try and get under it and not realizing how high it'll go with a tennis racket, because the whole thing is that you have to hit it with an angle to shoot it forward and not
like badminton but bigger.
Yeah, well,
and you get to run.
Well, that's the thing is with badminton it doesn't, like, the ball cock won't travel that far. Yes, it's called a ball cock. Let's be very clear. Okay? Yeah. It's called a ball cock. It is.
That's so awesome. I don't have a pen and paper.
Okay, you know what? Now I'm gonna have to.
I didn't know I wanted to write it down because it's super funny. But I don't have a pen and paper because I thought I'd be nice to you and not bring my notebook.
Sorry. Ball cock is a valve. My bad. No, what is it called? Hold on.
Yeah?
Badminton. It's something like that.
Birdie? I thought it was called.
What the fuck is a cock? Shuttlecock. Is that it? There's a cock in there. I know there is.
I thought it was called the birdie.
Well, now I'm gonna have a real problem.
Why, if I'm right?
No. Yeah, it's okay. It's a shuttlecock, not a ball cock.
Oh.
Shuttlecock. That's what it's called.
Shuttlecock. I love it. How come nobody told me this sooner? People never tell me the good stuff.
It's probably why.
I just gotta find out on my own.
A ball cock is a valve in a toilet. That's why I messed them up.
Is that really called a ball cock?
What the fuck was that sound?
I've had my hands on so many ball cocks.
You know what? Earlier, she was like, I don't want to jump on any bandwagons. I'm like, is the problem the wagon or the band? Boom. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. That's not nice. And then she's like, I've had my hands on a lot of ball cocks. Like,
oh, yeah. Well, if your toilet stops and you gotta lift up the ball cock in order to get it to fill up with water again, so that way, because you have to let the little valve thingy open up so that way it fills up with water so you can flush the toilet. Or you can just go get a bucket of water from your kitchen.
I've done that.
And pour it down
the
tank too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been a plumber. I've been an electrician. I've been it's not really a plumber. It's just when you live by yourself for 20 years, you gotta figure shit out.
That's true. That is true. You know what? Well, that was the one thing.
If there's nobody there to figure it out for you, you gotta figure it out.
See, this is the thing, is like, I don't know a lot about home renovations, but I've been around them a few times. I know certain things, like things that came up and why there were issues with that. So, like, we had a leak under our sink, like, 2-3 weeks ago. And the funny thing is, I said, Victoria, she goes, well, I go, okay, we have to figure out where the leak is. And the problem is, where the sink is, there's not much room to get down on the ground. And let's be honest, I'm not really built for crawling around anymore, okay? So I was like, okay, like, I can lean down and take a look, but, like, find it, and then
you should have called me.
Well, no, so the thing is, I told Victoria, I said, so we need this, and this. that should be it. Because it was seeming like there was a possible clog, but as well, it was actually the part that goes in the sink, like the top part, and attaches to the plumbing. That part had broken somehow, and so it was leaking out of there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, but you know what? Because we have the guy who renovated the house, we still use him for like if something's broken or something like that. Unless it's like something little, then I don't really give a shit. But I'll just do it myself. But my thing is, he's like a thin, wiry guy, and I'm like, yeah, I can't get in there to fix it. And
don't leave plumbing stuff, that kind of stuff, plumbing and electrician stuff that you need to get like certified to do.
Yeah, it's worthwhile.
I try not to.
And it's not about changing a light bulb.
I don't want to fuck up. No, not that kind of stuff. Like, I can even change fuses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm talking about like, stuff that I don't want to touch. Like plumbing, I don't like to touch too much. Like I do a little bit. I'll change taps. Yeah. I can change that. I can take out a toilet if need be.
Yeah.
Change the toilet. I can fix it if it's leaking or if it's, I know the basics. Yeah. But I'm not going to re-plumb your, I'm not going to put in plumbing somewhere. Or I'm not going to.
You know what, though?
Maybe from scratch.
There was a couple of plumbers that we had when we, like, fixed our basements and stuff, like, when I was growing up, that you could see such a huge difference in, like, professionalism. Like, we had one guy who, like, everything was done with tubing, and it was done, like, so nice. Like, everything was very in line, and it was against the wall, and it was secure. It was beautiful. And then the other guy is, like, just going through, and you're going, no, man, you can make, that's the thing is, there's artistry in every, especially labor-intensive jobs.
It's caring about what you're doing.
And not even that. It's more so than just caring. It's about not only caring about the end result, it's about caring about the entire process. Because, and that's the thing is, in other countries, so here we have drywall, right? Drywall, you just break into the drywall, find whatever you want to find, and patch up the drywall. No one will ever know. It's very simple. It's very easy. But in turn, when you look at other countries, like the house in Greece is built out of cement. So you'll see these little plastic covers in random places. And some of them will be different shapes or they'll be painted a color. Actually, no, just painted different shape. There'll be different shapes and different angles. But those are to say, hey, this is where you can access this specific thing. This is where you can access this specific thing. Because there are certain parts where they had to do, it looked like PVC, like plumbing, but it was for electrical or something, and that's where it would go through. Yeah. So because you can't really break through cement without making a huge mess, and it will most likely never look like how it looked. Right? You have to know.
And it won't set properly. Yeah. Too. Like, how are you going to redo that?
Tons of things.
It won't set properly. It'll be bad.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, there's certain things I'm like, yeah, I know how to do stuff, but I'm like replacing a toilet. I know how to replace a toilet. Am I going to replace a toilet? Probably not, right? Because number one, I don't trust people around me to not cover me in shit. Number two, I don't trust them to turn off the water properly either. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get involved in this because there's a lot of steps that I'm not familiar with all the steps either. I might mess it up. I'd rather just hire a professional. Can I do it? Sure. Will I do it? Probably not. That's most likely not. I've watched a guy pick up a toilet and just get right in the face of toilet water. I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen.
I would drain it first.
Well, obviously, that's what you're supposed to do. But the problem is there's water stuck between the
Yeah.
I forget what the curve is called, but you know what I mean. There's always water in there, and I'm like, that's why you have to tip it over, get the water out before you start walking around with it. I saw a guy got a face full of dookie. I'm telling you right now. And it was not pretty dookie. It was the dookie that made it have to replace the toilet. It was not nice. He's like, I'm like, I'm like, I hope you have your mouth closed. He's like, I did it. I'm going home.
I've done it recently. I've splashed myself in the face with poop water.
Chris has been doing renovations lately.
No, I wish. At least I'd have something cool for an outcome.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. That happened yesterday. That was on a wonderful moment.
You know what the funny thing is?
And I waited a long time for that too. It wasn't even like it was just, I waited for it.
Oh, okay, so we talked on what time? It was like 1:30, 2 o'clock. We talked yesterday.
Yeah.
And
for like my 5-minute break.
yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like we had in the morning. You're like, listen, today's out of control. I'm like, no problem. Just go do your thing.
Yeah,
if we can,
there's just too many things going on.
And it's, you know what? It's not anything. It's like, yeah, okay. So she calls me and she's like, you know what? Things are going better. I'm still waiting on this, but you know what? We should be able to do it later. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, no, we're not doing anything today. It's not gonna happen. And then I don't hear
Crystal again had her mile-long list of things, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I could just do this.
I only got 436 things. I'm like, yesterday was 500, so there should be no problem. And you're like, that's not how it works. Not how it works.
I didn't get to go into the bush or anything, if it's any consolation. I really didn't do anything. The 5 minutes that I got to talk to you, well, really, it was like 20. But the 20 minutes that I got to talk to you, that was
honestly,
it. That was my
I'll be honest with you, the best part was that
Sorry, excuse me.
It's like, you're like, I really want to go outside. Instead, you called me and I'm like, what are you looking for, Bigfoot? Like, what is this? I've heard nature experience, like, look at the giant monster. Doesn't think I'm looking.
I didn't have time to go out into
I know. I'm just, it's funny, right?
So I called you from being outside at the Civic Center near a playground. And then I felt weird.
Yeah, we talked about that, and she was watching all the men's exercise.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Like, I honestly, I love seeing women ogle men. Because it's just so... I love it.
I'm bad for it.
It's
I literally
hilarious.
will stop and stare. Like...
looking good.
I will give the acknowledgement. I don't even fake it. There was this guy, although I did feel bad because I didn't see a woman at first. So she was on the one side of like this SUV, and I should have known because he was like packing groceries and stuff into the back of a SUV. And if you got an SUV and you got that much groceries, chances are you're a dad or a husband, right? And so because this guy, he made me stop and almost drool on myself. Like I was like, oh, I didn't know what to do myself. Like, so I was just kind of, trying to adjust here, pump up here, suck in here, and I was trying to maybe he'll see me if I'm shiny, do one of these, and damn, he turned around to like half smile, and then the woman walked around the corner, and I'm like, nope, I wasn't looking. I was looking this way. Bye-bye.
You know what, though? That's very stand-up of you to be like, oh, sorry, my bad. Because...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not that.
Honestly?
There's enough single guys that will break my heart. I don't need somebody not single to break my heart. I don't need somebody who's already breaking hearts,
Honestly,
I'm good.
it's that's the funny thing is like to see it because you always hear about men ogling women. We always hear about it, and you know what? It's can make people very uncomfortable. And
I will put up a lawn chair at a construction site and drink lemonade and watch them fellas build me a house. I'm like, I watch UFC. I'm like, look at them fighting for my love. All sweaty and stuff. It's not about sportsmanship. It's about how fucking hot they are. I don't give a shit if he made weight or not. I'm just excited about the fact that he's fighting for my love. All sweaty and tattooed up and...
Oh, God. I really don't know how to comment on that. Well,
I'm just saying it's just as chauvinistic as being Men are, and I watch football for the tight ends. Like, you think I really care about them running 2 feet and somebody blowing the whistle? And fucking... I don't even get it. Like, I thought somebody used to go out and paint the lines on it. I was so stupid. I'm like, how does that keep happening? The lines kept changing on the field. I thought maybe it was like a like an image, like like one of those like 3D images or something.
I don't.
That would just make the lines appear on the field. But I didn't realize it was just on the TV. It wasn't actually painted on there. Or no TV image.
I don't know what to do right now. This is totally gone off the rails. Let's talk about something else,
Guys,
Krista.
welcome to Morning Motivational Rant.
Like, share, and subscribe,
Can we help
assholes.
you?
Okay.
Please, why are you calling them assholes? They're our viewers, all 54 of them.
Listen, I was gonna say that the regular ones are great.
And listeners.
The one that stop and our listeners, the ones that stop by. Yeah, maybe you're assholes. Prove to me you're not by like, sharing, and subscribing.
Yeah. Don't say they're assholes, so that's not nice.
Oh my god. This is just ludicrous. Yeah, so I've been trying to write more lately. It's not so this thing is, I feel like I have a book inside me. Not because I ate a book. Just to be very clear.
Not even once?
No, I don't think so.
That's why you're so big. I tried to eat paper in high school and stuff to lose weight, to stay skinny, and maybe you should have done it too.
No, I shouldn't have, because you know what? That's extremely harmful for your body.
And I didn't really, but there was a girl in high school that used to do that. Her name started with an N. I won't go any farther with that.
She's going to say their name, just to be very clear.
No,
that person's name
They know who they are.
Well, if you're watching, I hope you stopped eating books. I hope you started reading them.
Yeah, I hope you eat food now.
You know what? Like, I've been big my whole life, except for a short interlude from around 1999 to say 2003. I was probably around 2002. I was significantly smaller, but not really small. But I never thought about that, and I can only imagine how frustrating that must be. Like you said, you had an eating disorder too, right? And which. Fuck, man, that's just gotta be shit.
I still get super body conscious. Like,
no, I know.
I will sit there, and if I, because my jeans get tight on me, mind you, I don't even wear the largest size in kids' jeans. But yet, if my jeans get tight on me, then I start to get super self-conscious, and, I'll go, 3 days without eating anything.
That's not,
or,
yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
that's not, it's not good. It's not good. I get it. I don't get me wrong.
But then I'll, binge eat.
Yeah.
And then I'll binge eat, though, because people will make comments that I'm too skinny. So then I'll binge eat, and then it's and then I make myself sick. Because I'll sit there and binge and binge and binge and binge until I don't make myself puke, I just make puke because I ate too much.
I think
self-conscious.
you look beautiful the way you are. You're fine. So how about that?
Thank you, Dino.
No problem.
It just took years of bad decisions to get this way.
That's how you do it, people. If you want advice, a lot of bad decisions will lead to a beautiful mind and face. There you go. Yeah.
No, I've seen some lead tragically.
Yeah, I know.
I just lucked out. I really do have somebody watching over me.
His name is George. He's a pervert. He follows you around with a camera.
His name is Jehovah.
Let's not do that.
See, Dino, we're Jehovah's together.
No.
Let's go hand out pamphlets together.
No.
I think we can make people.
It's extremely condescending.
Join our Jehovah. I think because we could do it. I think we're both very convincing people.
So, for anyone who missed.
But not before we do our
For
cult.
anyone who missed. So, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I haven't been a Jehovah's Witness in about almost 20 years. No, about 15 years.
Because he wanted to celebrate Christmas.
That's not what it was at all. Not at all. So, it's extremely insulting to say that we could be Jehovah's Witnesses. No, that's definitely not true. I'll tell you, I couldn't be, and other people definitely could not be. So, let's just put that out there.
Jehovah loves us, no matter what.
Oh, he loves me. He doesn't love you. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'll tell you, he does. You know what? I get told all the time. Every time I walk into a church, they always tell me that I'm a chosen one and stuff. And then I always get super praised, and I cry uncontrollably.
Those are definitely
I don't know what it is. I think
those are definitely sex cults, and I don't think you should be going to those places. Okay. That is not healthy. It's not healthy. Anyone who comes...
I always wear a pretty dress, too, because I always want to, your Sunday best.
This is highly uncomfortable for me. Just to be clear, guys, I was lucky. So my dad wanted a relationship with God. That was his big thing, because it was forbidden when he was younger. Like, you couldn't own your own Bible. If you bought a Bible, you had to walk around with it in like a paper bag, so no one could see that it was. It was a different time when he was growing up. But that's what he thirsted for in life. So, while yes, I was a Jehovah's Witness, and yes, I've knocked on doors before. I've done all that kind of stuff. And you know what? It was a great learning experience. But at the same time, it had issues. And
nothing wrong with it. It's just society that makes people feel weird about their things.
Well,
if that's the way it is, that's what
I was fortunate to be raised in a very religious household by very smart parents who cared a lot for me, and that's
too much.
And that's impossible.
They should have beat them just a little bit more.
Oh, they beat me. That definitely happened.
Not enough.
Probably. But you know what? That's why there are a lot of weirdos in every religion. Like, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
When Jehovah's Witnesses see Mormons, we're like, look at the weirdos. Okay, that's very true. Because those guys are fucking weird. Okay.
Yeah, I know some Mormons that shouldn't be Mormons either.
I'm saying for legitimate reasons, not because they're perverts. They're definitely perverts, though. Let's be honest.
And for legitimate reasons.
Yeah, you don't find a book it's bullshit. Anyways, I went and saw the Book of Mormon.
All religion is a fairy tale. It's a tale. Somebody else's tale. Somebody else's perception.
I think if you have a tale, you probably end up in the circus more than religion. But that's just my...
I don't know. Don't they have those like half horsemen and stuff?
Not in the Bible.
Oh.
That's just ancient history.
I have a Bible, but it's just so that way. I don't know.
If the end
I don't know
comes,
why I have it. And I keep it close all the time too. Like I always have it, and I'm looking at it like that's how clearly I have it. Like it's right there. I always get, and I have a lot of religious books, and I keep them close to me. But I think it's just because I like inspiration of something greater than me. And if I do need to be inspired by something beyond what I know and beyond me, then I have it. And I love the feeling you get. It makes you feel all like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
God loves me.
I don't know about that, but
I know it.
What I was going to say was I was lucky to be raised by not crazy people. So while there was always a level of understanding and not just wackadoo teachings when I was growing up, so it's very important. And that's a different conversation altogether. Because we try not to be political and everything, but yes, I just went right back to what I was talking about instead of actually acknowledging the shit you were saying. That's just very...
okay. I just realized that I have 2 copies of the movie The Terminal. And they're in the same pile holding up up the video camera.
You know, I just think it's nice when I am like exposed in my childhood and she's like, I have 2 copies of The Terminal. Isn't that crazy?
The Terminal.
You're such a dickhead. We're out of time, okay? We're out of time.
Oh. Wow, that went quick again.
Not over here.
Oh, well, time flies when
not over here. It's very slow over here. I've been waiting for that clock to move.
I haven't looked at it once.
You never look at the clock anyway.
Life's not meant to be looked at the clock, Dino. Stop searching for answers.
It is when you're trying to beat a record.
Just be happy.
When you're trying to beat a record, it's very important. Just going to say that.
Well, why are you trying to beat a record? Let that person have their moment. Fuck.
It's because
everybody's trying to beat it, one up everybody.
I want to jerk off with a purpose. How fast can I get it to go?
Don't have a purpose. Just give her shit. Until you cry.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm kidding.
So, Morning Motivational Rant, guys. Morning Motivational Rant. Like, share, and subscribe. Oh, what to talk about today? None of your fucking business. I think that's a great way to start this. There's a I think this is good. This is a good thing.
Okay.
everyone, like, there's I think it's a Japanese saying or poem. It says how everyone has three faces. You know, you have the face for everyone. It's just generic. You have a face for your friends. Then you have your true face, which is only for you. I'll be honest with you. I opened up a little bit with my ex-wife, and we got divorced. With Victoria, I'm like, you know what? I've been able to share a lot of my really private thinkings with her, and because I went through a lot of hardship while I was with Victoria. Not because of Victoria, just like my dad passed, and you know, a lot of things happened. But at the same time, there's still things that I don't talk about, and this is the thing: is the idea of having to say everything. Like, I don't usually talk about the fact that I was Jehovah's Witness, just because a lot of the times people are like, "What?" Like they're baffled by it, and I don't like to set that as a tone. Like I'm not one to give out information. I'm one to more take information from. Like I'm an observer.
It's terrible.
It's not, but this is the thing though. Is that's the process.
Set a tone because you're so worried.
No, it's not even that.
Sad.
It's not that I'm worried. I don't like to share about myself. I rather like to observe. I like to watch. I know how that sounded really perverse, but it's following me. I like the human experience. I like the human interaction, but I'm not necessarily good at it. And that's why it's like, I remember my nephew introduced me to a comic who now lives in New York. And we got along fantastic, just swimmingly. It was great because he actually went to high school with that comic. He's very funny too. I really enjoy his comedy. But ultimately, one of the big things was like, afterward, he's like, let me introduce you to some of the other guys. So he introduced me, and I had a hard time talking with them because they were all just talking about their old times and, oh, do you remember this guy? And I'm like, I just went back to my phone and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, right? Because for me, I need a wingman who will never stop talking about himself. And I've been lucky to find those kind of people in like other friends, in Crystal, who will she won't even stop when you tell her to shut up. It's great. It's very useful. But
I like the sound of my own voice.
I don't think it's very bad. Your cackle is horrible, but the voice is great.
I just like to talk about me.
No, but you know what? That's the thing, is that serves a purpose. But what I'm trying to say is this: is that sometimes it's completely reasonable to be like, you know what? That's none of your fucking business, and be like, oh, okay. Like there's no more interaction that's required. If somebody's like, hey, you know, I heard you had a giant penis. You're like, that's none of your business. I'm a married man. Leave me alone. Right? It's like little things like that. But this is the thing: is setting those boundaries. They are fluid. They are fluid with who we deal with and everything like that. But that's the thing: is we don't have to go around. Fuck, a lot of it sounds sexual. We don't have to go around exposing ourselves to every Tom, Dick, and Harry just so we can feel some sort of validation, you know? And that's what I wanted to say was, you know, sometimes things are just There's
just certain things that you gotta keep, like, it's your stuff, you work it out.
There's a lot of things like that.
You have interfered.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like, look,
I say a lot of inappropriate stuff that I should probably keep to myself and work out. But that's my problem, is that I've kept it to myself and try to work it out. It didn't work out very well.
And you know what?
Now I try to share for help.
No, but that's the thing, is there's two sides to that. It's like, listen, being able to trust somebody, like, look, we've both said stuff that's way too private, right? But the thing is, being able to trust somebody, that takes a lot of fucking time, and there is no fucking rush. And I try and tell people every day.
And not to make you feel uncomfortable about it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, can you believe that? Like, the only times people have said stuff, and I'm like, how about you go fuck yourself? And they're like, oh, I didn't mean anything. And be like, no, come here. I'm going to tell you off because you're a piece of shit. It's like, who the fuck are you to ask about this, that, and the other? And that's why it's like, having a private moment or a experience that you want to treasure for just yourself is totally okay. And not having to expose yourself to everyone who asks is totally okay. And I think that idea, like, this was one of the big things that happened with my ex-wife, was she would have a problem with me, unbeknownst to me, and go and talk with other women about it. And I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? And that really, I'll be honest with you, I believe that was one of the biggest factors that led to our marriage breaking was keep it private. Like, listen, your relationship is nobody else's business. And that's why it's you have to be very careful, because a lot of the people who are willing to listen don't have your best interest in mind, and the people who don't want to listen do have your best interest in mind. And that's why it's like one of those things where, guys, there's no rush. Just be you. And you know what? Sometimes it's none of anybody's fucking business, and that's completely okay. And I think that's like the amount that we're exposed online, we're way over time. Sorry about that. But
that's okay.
It's
I don't notice time.
We had very different childhoods. There was But
it made us equally wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is the point, guys, is that, you know what? You should want to have barriers for your own self-preservation, but that doesn't mean that that barrier doesn't have a small little window that you can look out of. That's okay. Like, you know, there's a way to deal with things that's for your best interest, because the fact is that the majority of people just don't. I've had this conversation with Victoria before. We help with her parents. We live in the same house. And the whole reason for that was because they're getting older, they need help, they have their own issues. Fair. But at the same time, Victoria will be like, oh, I have to rush. And I'm like, yeah, I'm asleep. You're trying to rush for your parents. Your husband, who should be your focus, is trying to get some rest because I had a shit night and you saw that. And now you're not going to let me sleep in when I finally got into sleep. And she was like, yeah, that's pretty true. I'm going, listen, it's a small thing, but listen, I'm your priority. Spouses should be priorities. That doesn't mean her parents aren't a priority, but they come second to me. And I worry about my mom all the time, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she's my focus. And those little things.
You're supposed to be your forever.
Exactly.
And no matter what, they're the number one.
And don't get me.
So you drop everything for them. Like,
look, and that's not easy. It's not easy. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but it's
really important.
It's just the way it is. Yeah. So that's the promise you make.
Yeah. It's very.
You know, that's the promise you make. You don't make that promise with anybody else in your life. You don't make that legal. Like, you don't make that with anybody.
No.
Just your partner, you know?
Yeah. No, it's totally reasonable. Anyways, I think that's all I got to say about. Crystal, where can everyone find you?
Simply me on YouTube, Crystal Morency on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Lord Dino. Frick.
Dino Genetic Marvel, guys. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, on the Facebook. I'm even on the Twitter. I don't really tweet, though. It just seems redundant. I don't know. I'm sharing the same things everywhere, and I'm not really down with it. But anyways, Morning Motivational Rant. That's what's more important. Like, share, and subscribe.
I don't do the Insta.
I know.
I do the tweet for us, but I don't do the Insta.
And I tag the shit out of her in pictures. She never looks at them, but they're all great. So, Morning Motivational Rant. I don't know what you're doing now.
Go, I always do this.
YouTube, we have our main clips, the full episodes as well. We have announcements on Instagram. We have our Facebook page that has clips as well. And then for the audio listeners, Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast Podcasts, Radio Public, and Spotify, guys.
Hello.
They're amazing. Everything's been fantastic in that note. But guys, like, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, stay motivated. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.